And I just say, oh, I want to be a professional athlete. I do triathlon, and that's my dream, be a professional athlete. So 10 years time, definitely.
Welcome to today's video, everybody. It is the third interview, and today I'm going to be interviewing Josh Ferris. He's a mate of mine, a training partner of mine. We're both coached by his dad, Mitch Ferris, so it's going to be a pretty cool chat. Josh is already an accomplished athlete. He went to the 2018 Bonus Series Youth Olympic Games and picked up a silver medal there in the mixed team relay. Josh also went to the Junior World Championships last year in Lausanne, Switzerland. Josh is the current Australian Junior Triathlon Champion, so he's the best we've got. And he's also the current British Junior Triathlon Champion, so it's going to be another great chat, so hopefully you enjoy it. Right, thank you, Josh, for coming on and having a chat today. No doubt it's going to be, good fun, training mates. So we'll crack on with a bit of context about yourself, like the others. Age, location, and how you got into the sport.
Yeah, so I'm 19. I'm from Sydney, out a bit further west from Sydney. So not quite a country boy, but live in the sticks a bit. Yeah, triathlon's pretty much been my life for the past, I don't know. First triathlon probably, I reckon 15 years ago. I think I've pretty much still got the certificate in a box hidden away somewhere of my first club race completed, which was at the Regatta Centre at Penrith. And yeah, just kind of been involved in the sport through that. Like I said, always been introduced to it. It's been my life for a while. Dad was a fairly good triathlete himself back in the day. Not quite pro, but was a very top contender domestically as a pro, I guess you could say, or a high level age grouper. So he had a couple top 10 finishes at the Australian Ironman. And yeah, just kind of found my groove into triathlon through my parents, through dad and mum kind of thing.
Yeah. 15 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
It feels like I've been going for a while, but it's good. Get a good coach and you can kind of, doesn't feel like that long, but it still feels like a while.
Yeah. Now, Josh, we're going to do sort of a quick 10 questions. They're just short, sharp, sort of couple word responses. Shouldn't take too long. So we'll start with question 1, which is, what is your go-to pre-race meal, say in the morning?
Majority of races are in the morning. If I'm home, it's definitely the old Wheat Bix honey and milk. So I usually give myself, I don't like eating a whole lot before. So I usually just chuck in 4 Wheat Bix, chuck some honey on top, a fair bit of honey on top, smash that down with a coffee.
Yep. And what's your post-race meal, say like in the evening after everything's done?
I don't know, depending on races, depends if you got a race the next week. You usually try to keep it, you might go get a pizza or something like that. But if it's one of the races later in the season or there's a few weeks between races, it's definitely either a schnitty or something like that. You go to the local pub and go get a schnitty, or even just a good old Macca's stop, Not too often. I'm more the schnitty, I'm more the snitty kind of guy, not the Macca's.
Yeah. Favorite sport other than triathlon? Well, that you'd do other than triathlon.
Oh, I've been riding the mountain bike a fair bit, so I've been liking to think that I would have got into downhill mountain biking, to be honest. I reckon that would be sick as a sport. I watch it every so often. So if I wasn't doing tries, I'd be doing that definitely, I reckon. But probably favourite sport to spectate would have to be rugby league or cricket.
Yeah. You go to coffee at a coffee stop?
I'm a pretty regular bloke, so I'll just get the good old flat white. Sometimes a sugar, depending on how low on energy I'm feeling. But yeah, usually just a flat white and just keep a good amount of them going through the day. Three coffees a day. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, 3 a day.
Not usually.
Favorite race destination?
I don't know. Like, there's plenty of good race destinations I've raced at. I'd say my favourite so far has been Lausanne, Switzerland, last year's World Champs. That was just an awesome course, awesome atmosphere. But then probably favourite home race would be Devonport, I reckon. I reckon it's just a sick place to go and race. Testing, but yeah.
Yeah. And any race courses that you don't like too much?
Yeah, Robina. I hate Robina. We've done, I think the Tri-Australia's done 3 races there. Great course, but I've just had really bad luck on it. Come down twice of the 3. I've actually never finished the races there. I don't think one year I didn't end up racing. But yeah, the 2 years I did race, I ended up crashing on the bike and not finished at all. So yeah, that's definitely my least favourite would be Robina.
I remember that one.
Yeah. You're out in front of me trying to catch it, and the next thing, just straight over.
Favorite day of the week for training?
Moment, I don't mind Mondays, so long run day. I don't mind going out for my long run, and then I saw at the moment jumping in the river from a swim. But if not at the pool, I don't mind Mondays. But also Saturdays. I think Saturdays are a pretty testing day when we get all the lads together and give it a red hot crack on the bike and the run. Sorry. So yeah, I'd say Saturdays. Saturdays would be my favourite, then closely followed by Monday.
Yeah, I agree. Saturdays are.
Yeah, Saturdays are sick.
All right, second last question. One place that you would like to race that you haven't?
I actually had to kind of look around for this one. I had to go on the internet and search this one up. But yeah, looking at race destinations, I would love to race Hamburg. I reckon Hamburg would be just like it'd be the same atmosphere, probably even a better atmosphere than a world champs. Just like getting out of the water there at Hamburg would be ridiculous, and just the bike course. I would love to race that race. Love it.
Yeah, I was in Hamburg last year for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is one of the best.
Very jealous.
Races I've ever seen.
Very jealous.
I'll throw in one more question. Nicest pro that you've ever met?
I didn't think of that. Be like Brando Copeland. He's a very nice bloke. We had a little saying when we were over in Spain last year, and it was be like Brando, just because he's a role model. So yeah, definitely Brandon Copeland.
Yeah, good stuff.
BC.
All right. We'll move on now to a bit about just so obviously you've been all over the world to race and train, and sort of from the outside, for a lot of people, it looks pretty glamorous, good fun, jumping from country to country. But I'm sure it's got its challenges and all of that. Do you want to speak a bit about how you go about traveling to different races and that?
Yeah. Well, it was probably late last year when we were over for Worlds in Lausanne. We did a lot of traveling. I think we were overseas for just over 2 months, or around 2 months, and we covered where we went Japan, all through Europe, and it's just the travel we found traveling as a junior team. For me, my first time traveling like that for such a long period of time was difficult. I found that the travel was just to kind of keep in time zones and get your body right for training sessions was pretty tough for first time doing that kind of stuff. It's just tough in a way that how you are traveling for such a long period of time, and then you've got to somehow back up and get a good couple of weeks of blocks of training in. And also just going in and having different, it's like such simple things, having as like the smallest thing, like just how their food's processed differently. So I know I was in Spain and got really sick. Just 3 weeks out from Worlds and literally didn't train. I trained twice. I think did 2 probably half-hour training sessions in 10 days. This is 3 weeks before Worlds. And it's just from what happened to me, it just kind of my guts didn't like the food, how it was processed. Just little things like that, how we do it in Australia, is just completely different in places like Europe. So just kind of eating, just staying to safe foods, I found was a really good learning curve for me there. And then, yeah, just making sure your baggage weights are correct, because we had a lot of hassles traveling from Manchester to Japan. We nearly missed our flights just because we just had a little bit too much luggage, and it just caused a massive kind of roll-on effect from everyone. And yeah, just managed to get on our flight with about 5 minutes remaining. So just, yeah, all those little things that everyone thinks about, but might not always put into place, just thinking beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I found those probably the toughest to get my head around and to learn and to put in place kind of thing.
And what about languages? So I mean, you don't speak Japanese or Spanish, but were you able to get
No,
that with English?
Google Translate was probably all of our best friends whilst we were over there. Obviously, we spent a lot of time in Spain, so we would like to go when we go to a coffee shop. We'd like to speak to them in Spanish,
Right.
our order. So you just learn basic kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's just like things that if they see you're trying to attempt to order food in their language or order something in their language, that it's just kind of a bit of respect there. We found when we were over there. So yeah, but other than that, Google Translate was our best friends, I think.
And one race that you have been to, the Youth Olympics, well, I guess that's more of an event. That's not something everybody gets to go to. Do you want to speak a bit about that as well? Going from, the individual race and then the mixed team relay and getting a silver medal there?
Yeah. The Youth Olympics as a whole was just an amazing experience. Just I pinch myself like looking back at it now. Like it was such a good time, such a good event, and it was just a really good learning curve. For myself, a really good learning curve, rather than an outcome focused event kind of thing. I definitely didn't get the result I was after in the individual event. That was well below what I was capable of at the time. I think the travel, what you touched on before, just the travel got the best of me. I never traveled overseas to race prior to that. And even though I had 7 days to prepare for the individual race, I don't think I was ready. I wasn't in the time zones. I just wasn't ready for it in that aspect. I was ready for it physically. But yeah, that was a bit of a kick in the guts. I was pretty disappointed with that race. But spoke to a couple of close people and just said, you've got another race coming along. You've got another 3 days to redeem yourself with the New Zealand guys, the Kiwi Roos. And just kind of regathered. And then lucky we were in a team with Bria and Dylan, who did get the gold in the individual race, which I was so stoked for him. And Charlotte. So yeah, we just kind of lined up on the mixed team relays day and just gave it all we got. And lucky enough, it was good enough to come away with a silver medal behind Europe Team 1. So the silver medal with some Olympic rings on it is pretty special in itself, regardless of a team's or an individual event. It's definitely gonna stay with me for the rest of my life. Very close, just that event and just everything as a whole. Going over to Argentina, but yeah, bittersweet in the results, but the event itself, so the whole Youth Olympics was amazing. Yeah, experience.
Yeah, man, sounded pretty cool, and the food, the rooms, are they good as well?
Yeah, the food was alright. Yeah, after 3 weeks in the athlete village, it was pretty you got pretty sick of the food. I think the last 10 days after the race, all I was eating was chicken schnitzel, mashed potato, and pasta. That was the only foods I would go to for dinner, and then breakfast was like Cocoa Pops, but with like 15 teaspoons of sugar every square centimetre. So yeah, they were kind of the go-tos, and that was the food. The beds were pretty hard. Like it was like sleeping on a table. But after a couple of days, you got used to that as well. But yeah, everything as a whole was just awesome. I wouldn't change anything over there. I love the whole experience, of the whole vibe, the whole everything. It was good.
Yeah, I'm sure that's something you'll never forget.
Definitely not.
All right, we'll move on to another topic now. So Josh, you're coached by your dad, and that's a pretty unique relationship to have. To have your dad as your coach, and it obviously works well for you. Is that just something that came about naturally, and it seems to work well?
Yeah, like I always look at it as if I'm progressing, doesn't matter if technically, doesn't matter if it's time wise. If I'm progressing with the coach I've got, regardless if he was my dad, why would you change it? You know, if you're progressing, why would you do anything to potentially stop that? So, like you said, he's my dad, so it's a bit of fine tuning just to know when you got to switch off and when you have to be switched on and talk about triathlon. But yeah, it's something that I think doesn't work for everyone, but it definitely does work for me. Like, you know, your coach Blaine as well. So he's a unique coach in the way that he just knows with the training we do, probably is a lot less than what a lot of other people do, but you still find yourself getting pretty good results internationally and domestically. You know, I'm pretty stoked where I am at the moment with progression wise, where I'm at, even with this whole isolation thing going on. Yeah, it's good to kind of, for me, I think it's a good thing that he's my coach and my dad, because he just understands what I need. He lives with me, so he just understands what I need, and I kind of appreciate that. Because if you're with a coach that's, I don't know, 10 minutes up the road, he still doesn't see as much as what, you know. So for me, it works, and I really enjoy it, and I genuinely do think that there's a capability that we could go to a senior Olympics or a senior junior champ, a senior world championship. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good working remedy.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll say for the people watching as well, like, it's extremely professional. Like, when you're at training and all of that, you know, Mick handles everybody equally, which, you know, I'm a big fan of. So kudos to Mick.
Yeah. I think that's actually a big thing too that you touched on, is that out of all people, I'm probably the least that gets attention at training.
Yeah.
Just because he does coach probably 7 other athletes that are the bloody good athletes, you know. So, and they deserve, you guys deserve the right to like progress every way that I should, you know. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Respect for both of you.
Big kudos to Nico.
So Josh, where do you sort of see yourself in 10 years' time? Like, it's a pretty big question, but, you know, where do you sort of see yourself?
Yeah. Hopefully still doing triathlon. That's definitely the plan. You know, like, I'm sure yourself and a lot of other people that you'll interview or have interviewed, they get asked the question, "Oh, what are you going to do? What are you doing for a job? What are you doing all that?" And I just say, "Oh, I want to be a professional athlete. I do triathlon, and that's my dream, be a professional athlete." So 10 years time, definitely a professional athlete, triathlete, that is. Yeah, I don't know whether I'll definitely stick at this short stuff for a while. But I've kind of grown up with my dad doing Ironmans, and back in the day, not so much short course racing. So I remember having days off school, and I'd be going through every Kona video on DVD from 1989 through to 2012, or 2010 when Macca won. So I just, days off of school when I was in primary school, I'd just be watching them. They're watching them after that, and I don't know. 10 years time, I'd like to see myself. I was still doing triathlon, whether that be short course or Ironman. Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, whether it's 10, 15 years, I'd like to see myself a top level Ironman athlete. I think that's kind of what I really want to try and get to.
Yeah.
With the short course coming along the way, though, got to have the speed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Nail that and go along.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, Josh, do you want to give a couple of words of advice for some younger athletes, you know, developing now as young triathletes?
Yeah. I think for younger athletes, like specifically in this time, I know we've had a couple of group meetings that you've been on, and we've had some pretty awesome coaches invited onto those meetings, and just been the opportunity to ask questions about what we should be doing at the moment, or just guidance around what their athletes doing at the moment. And, you know, I think the biggest thing for people at the moment is, younger kids as well as older people, is to not get yourself tied up in working too hard now. It doesn't look like it's all over the news. It doesn't look like Australia's opening their borders anytime soon. Therefore, there's going to be no races overseas. Social distancing doesn't look like it'll let up before the borders are open, so it doesn't look like there's going to be much racing going on this year. So I think the thing to remember now is to train smart rather than like you're racing. Just get those miles, get those base miles in. It doesn't have to be very hard. If you feel like going out and doing a 4-hour ride, just do it easy, because if you got that aerobic fitness at the coming into race season, the speed will just come like that, you know. So I think the biggest thing to remember now is not to smash yourself, and that's what I've kind of been drilling through my head. Like, I don't need to smash myself. It's still a long way to go. And just doing what you feel kind of thing, going with your gut feeling and talking to your coaches. But yeah, that's pretty much my word of advice for the moment, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty good words there, because your body needs rest regardless of
exactly
or not. So
yeah, and as you know yourself, like, the Australian season's coming to an end pretty much now. So if coronavirus was here, if it wasn't here, you'd be having some time off, you know. So just treat your body, I guess, as you know. So treat your body.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Josh, for coming on today. Hopefully
all good.
Too long before we can get back training in group sessions. Fingers crossed. But
hopefully in some future videos we'll have some GoPro action of Toby Crow out the back.
Yeah. Put the GoPro on the back of the bike, not the front.
That's it. All right. Thanks for that, Mitch. Appreciate it, mate.
I hope you guys enjoyed that chat. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, Josh, for taking the time to make the interview. No doubt Josh is going to feature on the channel again once we do get back to training and racing. Other than that, I'm going to see you guys on Friday for the second interview of the week. It's going to be with a pure runner, a mate of mine, competitor of mine, Angus Beer. So it's going to be, another good chat. I'll see you guys on Friday.